staring at her. But you will. She got up from the chair so fast she almost knocked it over. Are you really going to spend money on her? On someone who isn't even a real daughter? The slap came from a place no one expected. It wasn't directed at me. It came from our mother. Not forceful, not violent, but direct. A dry, small snap that lingered in the room like a ghost. Never speak like that again, she said, her voice firm. You can be angry, frustrated, sad, but that doesn't give you the right to be cruel. Brooke stood motionless. Tears accumulated, but she held them back with stubborn pride. You chose her. You always chose her. You only had me because it was easy. She was bought. My mother sighed, but didn't respond. My father tried to touch Brooke's shoulder, but she dodged as if he were fire. She left the room and ran upstairs. The sound of the door slamming echoed through the house like a mute scream. During dinner, she didn't show up. Not the next morning either. Not at lunch. Her food remained untouched. Her room locked. Her Instagram silent for the first time in years. But the real shock came 2 days later. An email from the school principal arrived for my parents. Brooke had been reported for plagiarism in 2 assignments. One of the teachers had proof, screenshots, identical texts. The school would initiate a disciplinary process. And if proven, she could be prevented from graduating. My father spent hours in silence, sitting on the porch with his phone in his hand. My mother cried quietly in the bathroom. I just went to my room and gently closed the door. For the first time, I felt no pity. Not anymore. Brooke created the world she lived in. I just let it collapse. And now, she was in there, alone, with the walls crumbling over her own lie. But I knew. She wasn't going to accept falling quietly. She was like a wounded animal. And wounded animals bite. It took 3 days. On the morning of the 4th, I found Brooke sitting at the kitchen table as if nothing had happened. Her hair pulled back in a messy bun, eyes covered by a pair of sunglasses even though she was inside the house. She stirred her cereal with the spoon without any real intention of eating. When she saw me, she raised an eyebrow and said, "Did you enjoy the show? Have you told the school too? Or do you want me to go on a silver platter?" I didn't even have to say anything, I replied, grabbing an apple from the fruit bowl. You were great at digging your own grave. She smiled, but it wasn't a human smile. It was the kind of laugh shown in alleys and broken mirrors. You think you won, don't you? It's not a competition. Of course it is. It always was. You just won because nobody expects anything from someone who came from trash. I didn't respond. Not because the words didn't hurt, but because some part of me, a new part, that had hardened, knew she wanted the response. She wanted the conflict. She wanted something that would bleed. But what really hurt was seeing my mother standing in the hallway, listening to everything. The spoon fell from Brooke's hands when she noticed. If that's how you think about your sister, maybe you need to rethink more than just your grades, my mother said before turning and leaving. Brooke never tolerated being ignored. And that was the first slap of ice. The school's punishment came quickly. Indefinite suspension, formal investigation, nothing guaranteed regarding graduation. She cried in her room on the first day. Not from regret, but from rage. From humiliation. I heard the muffled sobs, objects being thrown against the walls. Then silence. The following week, I discovered she had accessed my email. I found the suspicious login warning on my phone. Someone had tried to log in with my password in the middle of the night. I confronted her immediately. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" she said. "You left the laptop unlocked. You went through my things. You meddled in my life. I'm just returning the favor." There was a moment of pause between us, one of those seconds of mutual recognition, when two people finally admit who they are to each other. There, in that invisible tension, there was an undeclared war. And war, I realized, requires preparation. That's when I started keeping evidence. Screenshots, copies of conversations. I recorded all the small sabotages, the whispers, the deleted emails, everything. Not with the intention of using it, not yet, but as a shield. I knew she wasn't going to stop, and I couldn't allow myself to fall into her game without weapons. Brooke, on the other hand,